prioritization graph. I learned this from Stephen Covey.
Yep.
7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So any of the tasks that you have on your list, so now you know your magic number, you know you need to avoid minimum wage activities.
Yep.
So let's now look at all the things that you've got going on, right? And do me a favor, if you're listening to this, make a list of, just give me some example, 4 or 5 things, because I want to walk you through this and actually coach you a little bit. So just list out very quickly, piece of paper, what are some of the things that you have on your list that you do on a regular basis, right? So this is what the chart looks like. So imagine this, you have the quadrant, right? You have the quadrant. So we divide the task into either the important, urgent.
Yep.
So just important and urgent, that's it, right? So you have tasks that are urgent and important, which we put that as like level 1.
Yep.
Right? Those are the most important things. Guess what? Those things you kind of gotta take care of, right?
Yes.
In this case, important goals, deadlines, projects, and different things that you're working on. Things that makes a difference, right? Major things. So that's level 1 kind of issues. Task, level 1 task. Work on those. And then you have the tasks that are urgent but not important. Okay, they're kind of like urgent. You gotta get it done, but they don't contribute a lot to your long-term goals, right? It could be reports, it could be low-priority email, or spending a lot of time, wasting time on social media, right? Like checking your friends' walls and stuff like that. I mean, they're not that important. It feels urgent, they're actually not even urgent at all.
Not urgent at all, no.
And then you have so those would be the things that level 3 kind of a problem, right? Level 3 kind of a task. Level 2, not urgent but important.
Yep.
Not urgent,
but important.
But important. Long term, they're important long term. So those tasks, it could be planning, right? It could be meeting that person, or meeting that client that could turn into something great.
Build that relationship.
Yeah, maybe not today, but maybe 3 months down the road, there could be something huge. So it's not urgent, but very, very important to your long-term success, right? Those are like level 2. So urgent, important, level 1. Not urgent, important, level 2.
Yep.
So you should spend a lot of time, most of the time, at the top of the quadrant. Okay. And last one, not urgent, not important. They're not urgent, they're not important. Then my question to you is, why the fuck even do them at all? Right? Why do you even do them at all? Now, we all have some tasks in our lives where they're not urgent, they're not important. And that's okay. But just knowing that, it could be, you go watch a movie. It's not urgent, it's not important, but it's fun, it's entertainment. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Like, just know that you're aware that that's what you're doing.
And I guess if, excuse me, if the bulk of your activities are in that area, that's why you're broke, right?
So ask yourself, right now, all the activities, the few activities you're doing on a regular basis, are they urgent, important? Are they not urgent, important? Are you doing a lot of stuff that's like urgent, not important, and not urgent, not important? Tell me. You see how many things you gotta say no to? You see it now? How many things you have to say no? You have to say, no, that's not what I do.
Even being able to just, and you can find this online, guys. You can print this out. You can draw it yourself on a whiteboard.
I learned it from Stephen Covey.
Yeah, and but how many of you are gonna actually do it? How many of you are gonna do it not just on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but by next week you're still doing this, or 2 weeks from now you're still doing this. You're still writing it out on a daily basis. That's another thing that is probably lacking, is that many of you you like the idea tonight. It sounds great. But then are you going to actually implement? I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge those out there to get it done. Yeah. So to think about all the tasks that you do, if you know you are doing a lot of level 3 and level 4, then that's killing your productivity. But if you operate most of the time level 1 and level 2, then you're good. Like, that's kind of your baseline, right? That's your baseline. So we should spend a majority of your time top of the quadrant, not bottom of the quadrant. So anything that you do now, to me, I do it kind of by just second nature. Yes. Anything that I need to do, automatically I put it into quadrant, right? Yeah. I would put it into quadrant. And sometimes a lot of these things where I would say, okay, that's urgent, but that's not important, right? Then, okay, I need to maybe delegate to the team, right? Or if it's not urgent, not important, I ask the first question is, should I even just eliminate this? That's my first line of defense. Why are we even doing this at all? So I eliminate it, right? And you need to train yourself to do that, because sometimes it's tough to. It's not easy to do this naturally, right? Yeah. And something I think I train Des quite a bit. Yes. Because his personality, he's more optimistic. Yes. And like to
like to make it work.
Yeah.
Like to say yes. Like to not I shouldn't say burn bridges. It's you don't want to upset people.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's very kind heart doesn't want to say no to people. And that's the thing I am always reminding him. Sometimes you just gotta say no.
Yeah.
And sometimes you know what, we're not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes we kind of push him outside the comfort zone a bit and say, no, we're not gonna do that.
And Big Dan also coached me as well, said, protect your time.
Yeah.
So then I have to look at this before I sometimes even just to ask the question to Sifu, waste his time when I could have figured it out.
Decisions. Yeah. Or sometimes he might know that I'm probably gonna say no, but it's like, oh, maybe I should still ask. It happens too. So that's an ongoing, thing we work on, right? So there is not a single time management, you talk about system, you talk about like discipline on earth that doesn't revolve around some kind of a list. Making or using some kind of list. I'm a very big fan of list. Now, different people like to do it different way. I'm going to share with you my way. Okay, just my way of doing it. I do not like to do it on here. I don't like to make lists on my phone. I'm very old school. I'm a paper, notepad, journal kind of guy. That's what has worked for me over the years. The phone making to-do lists, it does not work for me. Don't know why, it just doesn't work for me. I like to feel the ink.
Yeah.
Right? I need to write it. And what's very powerful is I have a journal that I use all the time. When I write things out, when I cross it out, there's that
satisfaction, fulfillment.
And what's very, very good is you can get this a simple journal from any office, Staples, whatever place, right? Very simple thing. It's very, very interesting if you actually write down, they say this is for this quarter or this year, whatever.
Yeah.
You accumulate a bunch of these journals.
Yeah.
And you can look back after a few years, like the problems you were solving before versus the problems you're solving now.
Yeah.
You can see the progress. Like the things, one thing that inspired me, that's a book by Richard Branson, Business Strip Bear, right? You want to get a copy of that book, it's one of his best books. But what's very inspiring is, you will see before the first page of the book, like when you open the cover, you will see his to-do list.
Right.
It's fascinating, okay? You open it up, it's actually a very like doodle kind of, but you can see the drawing, right?
Yes.
You can see the drawing, his to-do list. When I read that, it inspires the hell out of me. You know what he has on his thing?
No.
Buying a 747 jet for Richard, for his Virgin airline, right? It's like big things.
Big giant things.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna acquire a company,
Yes.
I'm gonna pay this $100 million thing. Like,
it doesn't say washing the car,
no,
mowing the lawn.
It's like the biggest thing you will see. I find that fascinating. Like just getting the book, reading Rich's to-do list.
Yes.
You're like, they're all big items. They're all like urgent, important, or like important, not urgent tasks.
Right.
Phenomenal. That tells me a lot about the way he operates. Right? That's it.
Whiteboard, whiteboard as well is another great way.
Whiteboard, that's a great way to do it. I mean, whiteboard. I use whiteboard for short term. I still like the paper.
Yes.
Because whiteboard, once you finish it, you kind of
wipe it out.
Erase it. I like to keep a record because I like to see my own progress.
Yeah.
So good old paper and pen doesn't cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
This is not having fancy. I know a lot of people that use like very fancy app or software. I keep it very simple. I still keep it very simple. Right? I don't even use the Excel. I like paper. That's what I do. Okay. So find what works for you. Right? Do not carry it all in your head. That's what you don't want to do. Write it out. Right? The more details you get on paper, the fewer you must remember and worry about. You know how it is sometimes?
Yeah.
You have so many things you're worried about.
I got too many things.
Right? Like too many things, and then you miss some, and then you're like, shit. And then the guilt kicks in, and then, oh my God, and they're gonna. So then in your mind, you don't know it, but you're spending a lot of mental
energy.
bandwidth.
Yeah.
Revisiting that thing many times.
But when you write it out, all of a sudden it's there, it's clear. Then there's this relief.
Yeah.
Yep.
And sometimes, and do this when in your mind you might have 50 things to do.
Yes.
But when you write all out, and
it's actually not that many.
You use the quadrant. Oh, maybe you only got like 20 things you got to do. And out of the 20 things, actually 5 it's like totally you don't have to do. You can eliminate.
Yeah.
And actually you only have like 7 things that you can focus on.
That's
right?
true. That's true.
So I like to do that to Like all the time. I do it all the time. All the time.
This goes back to the people who say they're busy all the time.
Yeah. I don't have time
They
to write
say
it
they're
down.
busy, but if you write it out, actually maybe they realize they're not that busy.
They're not that busy.
Yep.
Right. And a lot of stuff that they do is minimum wage activities anyway.
Yes.
Right. It's not important. Right.